Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do a rhetorical analysis, that is, finding and explaining the figures of speech in from a given text. Like this one. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Shakespeare's sonnet number 116. So, let us look at the very first sentence. In fact, the very first line, not even the sentence. Let me not to the marriage of true minds. Now, there is me, marriage, and minds. All of these words are beginning with the M sound. And we can find the alliteration of M sound in the first line, because the definition of alliteration is that it is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of stressful syllables of nearby words. So, me, of course, monosyllabic word. Marriage, there are two syllables, but the stress is given on the first syllable. And minds also, monosyllabic word. So in all three cases the M sound is at the beginning, and it's a consonant sound at the beginning of the stressful syllables. So it's an example of alliteration. Next we find consonance of T sound in the first line, because consonance is, same thing, repetition of consonant sounds, but it is different in one aspect, that the consonant sounds can be anywhere, placed anywhere within nearby words. It doesn't matter that the consonant sound is in the beginning or in the middle or at the end. It doesn't matter. As far as we are concerned, we should look for at least three repetitions. Okay, three repetitions within a line, nearby words. So if there are, three times, a particular consonant sound is repeated, then it's consonance. Okay, so consonants of M sound can be found in the second line also, because there is admit impediments. Now this is consonance, not alliteration, because admit, the M sound is in the middle, impediments. So impediments, the stressful syllable is pe, and the M sound is before that syllable, after that syllable. So this is not alliteration, this is consonance. Now look at the tricky thing, that is the marriage of true minds. We have to understand the deep meaning of the line. That here the marriage of true minds, here the poet is not talking about marriage, the poet is talking about love. Love between true and honest minds. So actually marriage of true minds is not about marriage, is about love, which is true and honest. True means honest, of course. Here, the social idea of marriage has been implicitly compared to the romantic idea of love, the abstract idea of love. So marriage is a social construct, it's a social ritual, a ceremony, whatever, and the point of comparison is implicit, because the poet does not explain why he is comparing. We have to understand it. Marriage is considered to be a holy bond as far as society is concerned. The poet is here considering love as the true marriage, So to the poet, love is the holy bond. That's why the poet is calling love the marriage of true minds. It's not the other way around. It's not what we are accustomed to, calling marriage as love. No, the poet is calling love as marriage. So there is no sign of comparison, of course. There is no like, there is no as, no such word. So this is an implicit comparison. And what do we call an implicit comparison? A metaphor. The next thing that we can find is that the word order, in English, it should be subject, verb, object, sequence. So we would write, if we wrote such an expression, we would write like, let me not admit impediments to the marriage of true minds, because that is the subject, verb, object sequence. But here the syntax, the word order is haphazard. It is changed from the normal sequence. This is what we call hyperbaton. Next, we move on to the next sentence, the next part. Love is not love which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Now, if we look at the clause, when it alteration finds, we know that the normal word order is when it finds alteration. But here the word order has been changed. So this is again hyperbaton. Now the tricky thing is the simple word bends. By using the word bend, the poet is actually implicitly comparing the abstract idea of love to a solid metallic object. Love is of course an abstract idea. It is not a metal. It cannot be bent like a metal, and that's why the poet is saying that love is not something that can be bent by external force. And by using the word bends, he is actually comparing it to a metal and telling that love is not like a metal. So he is implicitly comparing. There is no sign of comparison, of course. There is no point of comparison explained. And of course, this is a metaphor. Moving on, the word remove. If you look at the dictionary, remove has multiple meanings. And it can mean when you are taking something away from some place to another place. Or it can mean to abolish or get rid of something permanently, removing something to get rid of something. So, removing someone from his position, that is getting rid of that person. And removing, that means, suppose I am changing house and I am moving my, properties, various objects from one place to another place, and that is removing. So there are two meanings, and these two meanings are equally applicable in this particular expression. The poet has used the word remover to remove to mean in both the ways possible. That is, love is not something that can be easily moved away from towards one person to another. I mean, if I love somebody, and if I truly love somebody, and a situation or something happens that I change my direction of love, and I am not loving that person anymore, I am having another option or something like that, then my love is changing its direction, moving its, moving from one person to another, to another direction. So it is removing in one sense. Of course, the other sense is that love cannot be destroyed or abolished, because love is an abstract idea. It resides in the heart, and it is not an object that you can destroy with external force. As long as the person lives, the love lives within him or her. So both the usage of the word remove is applicable here. And when that happens, we call it pun or paronomasia. Okay. So these are the figures of speech that we can find in these lines, and thank you for watching.